is this you discussing Indian blood? We're going to judge people by whether they have Indian blood, whether they're qualified to run a gaming casino or not?
That probably is me, absolutely. Because I'll tell you what, if you look at some of the reservations that you've approved, you, sir, your great wisdom have approved, I will tell you right now, they don't look like Indians to me. They don't look like the Indians. Now, maybe we say politically correct or not politically correct. They don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like Indians to Indians. And a lot of people are laughing at it, and you're telling how tough it is, how rough it is to get approved. Well, you go up to Connecticut, and you look. Now, they don't look like Indians to me, sir.
$5 Indian, $5 Indian.
Do any of you have the faintest idea how this country got started, or have any interest in learning about it? If you have, you just haven't shown it. I don't know why you even bothered. Opie, what is it?
I know.
You know what?
How this country got started.
Indeed. Well, suppose you tell.
Founding of Jamestown, 1607. The first colony was founded in Jamestown, Virginia by Captain John Smith. He was a friend of Pocahontas. Her father was an Indian chief. She was an Indian, too. But she was a friend of his, and she wouldn't let him. Kill him, I mean. He wasn't the first. Columbus was in 1492. It wasn't in Jamestown. It was in San Salvador. That ain't the United States, you dope. That's in the West Indies. What about the Pilgrims? They weren't the first Americans. The Indians were. The Indians were. Ain't that right, Miss Girl?
Boys, now you've raised some very interesting questions. Suppose we just start back at the beginning and take them one at a time.
The actual Indians, or rather known as the American Aborigines, have since blamed the government for the mismanagement of a trust in their names for well over 120 years, and now the U.S. government owes them tens of billions of dollars. The dispute dates back to 1887, when Congress made the Interior Department the trustee for approximately 145 million acres of Indian lands in America. Black Indians, or rather Aborigines of America, were supposed to benefit, but the government gave their majority of the land, legal tenders, tax reliefs, and other federal specialized benefits to white settlers, who paid off the citizenship administrative organizations in order to become members of what is known as the 5 civilized tribes in Indian Territory by Congress. White settlers sought to reap the benefits of the Aborigines. In fact, one example of that will be the complexity of how successful, but so openly fraudulent, they did it. In 1895, the white settlers were informed of what benefits the Indians were entitled to, so they traveled to the Dawes Roll Commission to inquire about having their names enlisted on the roll cards for full-blooded and/or freedmen Indians of American lands. In 1898, the Dawes Roll acted as a census responsible for documenting records of one's ethnic background in order to determine one's association with specific American Indian tribes. Also, it played an important role with determining which Indian tribes would get land allotments and other benefits that I detailed earlier, in return for abolishing their tribal governments and recognizing federal laws. In order to receive the land, individual tribe members first had to apply and then be deemed eligible by the commission. The commission to the 5 civilized tribes was appointed by President Grover Cleveland in 1893 to negotiate land with the Cherokee, Creek, Choctaw, Chickasaw, and Seminole tribes. It is commonly called the Dawes Commission after its chairman, Henry L. Dawes. In a 1963 episode of The Andy Griffith Show, the main character's son, named Opie, was profoundly decisive with informing his great aunt of some very intricate, persuasive details that he overheard from a white settler standing by.
I've always told you to go straight home from school.
Come and see, A.B. He's telling all about the Indians.
Who?
Him. He got kidnapped by the Indians. He got adopted by their chief. He lived with them, A.B. Real Indians. He lived with them and learned all their secrets. Come on and
Aunt B knew that the white settlers' story was inaccurate and very deceiving, but what is true is that white settlers utilized the same exact reasoning in order to acquire the approval of Indian enrollment eligibility for their personal gain. During the early part of the year 1902, the U.S. government reacted with malicious intent in developing a separate Freedmen's List specifically designed to root out all copper-colored Indians from receiving these newly established benefits by way of the federal government.
Indigenous people of this land. The Chinese came in, mixed in with them, and produced what you're calling Native Americans today or Indians. And the Caucasian gave them all our rights. Now they walk around saying Cherokee, Choctaw, Shinnecock, Cheyenne, and we walk around saying African.
What is also important to note, the U.S. government listed all full-blooded indigenous aborigines of America, mainly all of the Indians who they thought had African-like features, as black or colored, as the classification of race documented inside of the 1900 census. Simultaneously, white U.S. citizens were allowed to become identified as Indians by paying the Dawes Commission a whopping total of just $5 for each white adult and child to be listed on the Dawes roll. On April 1st, 1902, public notices were passed around detailing that other claimants can legally make their cases for freedmen enrollment, single-handedly allowing all white citizens the rights to legally steal the Indian lands of America, reparations, and optimized benefits set forth by federal law. Ironically, this was officially announced on the day most people would tell their very best April Fool's jokes.
Did your ancestors invade here, or did they come? How did your ancestors come here?
They were born here.
They were born here?
Yes.
Oh,
I'm
so
an
they're
Indian.
Oh,
I'm
so
an
they're
Indian.
Oh, you're an Indian.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Exactly what tribe?
Mohawk.
Oh, yeah.
Mohawk? Oh, okay. Where's your Mohawk?
No, Mohawk is back east.
The hardest part I've seen in my fight, and I'm the chief of the tribe, is when you come up against people of color as well as European descent, and you say Indians, they're looking for the Bill Cody Long Ranger Tonto style thing. And when you actually show them that the indigenous people were actually my color, as I have had a chat with people about cocoa brown, or a brown piece of leather well put together, I have a lot of ways of using slangs to tell people that we are still here because we were not weak. We were here before DeSoto and Christopher Columbus. You have to be strong to make it through those disasters. During Katrina, I told them Katrina was not a Category 5. My people came through some Category 5s, and we survived them. So Katrina, to me, was going to be an easy thing to survive. Because when you're hit by a category named DeSoto, Category 5, and it lingers around for 400 to 500 years, steady beating on the shore, and it just won't move, that's a disaster. Not a disaster that just come and go, but a disaster that still lingers. Then when you have a person like George Washington, that was a Category 5. He hit, and we're still lingering because he's still on shore. Okay, so that's two categories sitting on shore at the same time. I have Christopher Columbus, Category 5, still sitting on shore, beating up on us. Okay, so then I have Andrew Jackson. Can that be a Category 10?
Yeah.
Okay, because if I can rank it, he's a 10. He's still beating on us.
Yes.
None of these European storms have moved. At least Katrina hit ashore, did the damage, and moved on. These categories continue to beat today. I wish it was drum beats, but it's not. It's not something you can dance to. It's something that you have to duck and dodge and constantly try to stay out of the way of the debris that it blew. Is that a good way to describe it?
Excellent.
Some of the debris that these categories have blew upon us, yes, you can help. But the first thing you have to go through being classified as crazy because the United States have fixed it in the United States where whatever is not by their rule is crazy. So we have to take those abuse. That's part of some of the debris that's blown ashore and still hitting around. A lot of the universities don't know about us because when they did write the truth about us, it was covered in the basement. So it's still down in the basement, okay? A lot of the truth was in the St. Louis Cathedral. Where did they put the records? A lot of the truth was in the Cabildo. Where is it? A lot of the truth is inside the tombs of the graves that's at St. Louis Cathedral, because they have a lot of Indians buried in there too. The bricks that built St. Louis Cathedral, my people made those bricks. The bricks that built the tomb in the older graves came from my people. Those categories was not only able to blow debris, but it was also able to cover things up, like Katrina blew a lot of rubbish that covered up things. You know, that sludge that was left in your house and on the ground. Some of the sludge of this storm that I have to deal with is, am I this color as an Indian because of African descent? Or am I this color because this is the color of my ancestors?
A lot of my council is working on developing our own form. It's real important for us, for people to know that we're not white people trying to be Native American.
Well, the truth to that lies with the anthropologists, if they tell the truth. Because as they dig into the grounds, they have found people and they know they look like I look. But do they want to be politically correct as a white man to stay in standing with his white man? Or do he want to just let the truth lie in the basement? If you look into the older court records of Louisiana, you'll find my people there. But it be looked upon by some people as Europeans, because the white man duplicated every last name he gave to us after being forced to take a family name. He duplicated those same names. So now, then you can easily say, well, it's not the black Greens, it's the white Greens. It's not the black Dupree, it's the white Dupree. But I was always told the proof is in the pudding. So in my family, we didn't tell the white folks all our business. So when they stole our identity, mispronounced it as Choctaw, they would come back into Lacombe, see our ways of living, and then they would mimic this back in Oklahoma. We have to ask, as historians, who signed the Dancing Rabbit Treaty and some of the other treaties? Research their name and see if the people that's in Oklahoma, I'm finna get real controversial. Let's see if there's really Native Americans that your tax money is paying for today, no matter what color you are. I said, if the government want to really know who's been ripping them off, check out and see who's inside that pudding. Because what's in the pudding sure ain't chocolate. It's all vanilla. Okay?